The joke is that the Jewish holidays are never on time. These 10 days, which stretch from Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year, to Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, those days, according to the civil calendar, move forward and back. But the fact of the matter is that there is something about Yom Kippur, that 10th day of this span of time, that is quite ironic and mysterious and unusual. Firstly, it's the only service of the year that carries the name of a prayer. We call it Kol Nidre service. This important prayer that is often recited at the very beginning, chanted by the cantor. Traditionally, it's done 3 times. And it is the one time of the year that people who may not have been in synagogue for the entire year before will make sure they're in their pews and in their seats on time. But the irony is that most Jews have absolutely no idea what this Aramaic prayer says. So let me read this translation. All vows, obligations, oaths, or pledges of all names which we have vowed, sworn, devoted, or bound ourselves to, from this day of atonement until the next day of atonement, we repent aforehand. They shall all be deemed absolved, forgiven, annulled, void, and made of no effect. They shall not be binding nor have any power. The vows shall not be reckoned as vows, the obligations shall not be obligatory, nor the oaths considered as oaths. This is not necessarily what we would want to attest to. These are not feelings that we have that we should not keep our pledges or oaths or obligations. That's not the way the world works. In fact, the rabbis of old wanted to do away with Kol Nidre because it was against everything that was moral and legal in their society. But the people wanted it, and so it became part of the tradition of our people going forward. So the question is, why do we arrive on time with such anticipation for this Kol Nidre chant? Well, I would suggest that there are 3 possibilities, 3 different but very powerful motives that churn through us as we listen to the chanting of Kol Nidre. First is a matter of memory. Some of us can have clear memories of sitting next to our parents or grandparents playing with the fringes on their talit while they listen to Kol Nidre. But it's also memories in the making. We have to decide what it is that we want to leave for our children and our grandchildren. Not only the values, but the celebrations and the traditions. In some way, Kol Nidre becomes that textured connection from one generation in the past to us to a generation in the future. The second possibility as to what Kol Nidre and this day mean for us has to do with bearing of our souls. Those of us who will spend the day in synagogue understand that our defenses are just stripped away. And we have to face our own nakedness. We want to return to our better selves, to be fully aware of how we could have done what we have done better. We also have an opportunity to recapture our identity as Jews, if we are Jews, but also people. And I think the third possibility, which brings Jews on time to their seats in the sanctuary, is the music itself, the haunting melody. And so, let us send each other off with a traditional blessing said during these high holidays. L'shana tova tikatevu. May we all be written into the book of life for a peaceful, good, healthy, and joyous new year.